special edition of Together We Thrive. Today I am talking about success in business, and I am here with Nina from Vivra Co. Welcome, Nina.
Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you.
Nina, I wanted to start by finding out a little bit about Vivra Co, but I'd like to find that out by asking you what was your most recent success?
My most recent success, I think, was I've always wanted to incorporate a dance program into Vivra Co. Even though it's a beauty business, the whole goal of it was to also build confidence in people and make them feel good about themselves. And I used to teach Zumba and dance fitness previously, and I realized that that was actually a great way for people to, I guess, express a fun enjoyment attitude towards life and around other people, and also to get their energies up and their confidence up as well. And I've just started doing online dance classes. So that was my recent success, and I'm actually teaching later tonight. So
That's
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. And can you tell us a little bit about what else you do with Vivra Co?
So with Vivra Co, essentially, it is a beauty-based business. I do eyelash extension services, and I provide them for women in the Brisbane community to help them feel, good about themselves. I know that sometimes we need that little extra bit of confidence boost, and that's completely okay. And with the proceeds, I use them to fund the tuition fees of girls living in poverty in Malawi, Africa. So far, I've sponsored about 40 girls into school, and I'm partnered with Bikama Academic Centre there, with Emmanuel, who's my business partner. And we put these girls through our Girls Scholarship program. So outside of the regular school curriculum, they are also provided lessons in entrepreneurship, finance. They get mentorship to alleviate them from social pressures, and this mentorship is provided to them by female leaders in their field who can show them that they can be independent and I guess live their lives to their fullest potential.
It's just beautiful to hear about the impact that you have by looking after the people here, helping them with their confidence in multiple different ways now. Obviously,
Yeah.
it started with lashes, and now it's reached out to dancing, but then also the impact that you can make overseas and really help women in need. So that brings me on to my next question. How do you actually measure success within your business?
So success within my business, initially when I did accept to do this kind of conversation, the success I used was my own personal success, in regards to how far I've achieved in setting my own goals. Um, and I guess measuring the success from my own business was starting it up, because I know for the past 6 years it has been incredibly difficult to start up a business and stick with it. And I know that's difficult for many other people, and having the motivation to do so. In the beginning, we get filled up with so many excuses and so much self doubt. And the moment that I started up and I undertook the training, the courses, the moment I got my first client or my first batch of clients, that was a success to me. And the fact that I can still continue running it is a success to me. When it comes to like the measuring social impact success, which obviously I love to do, is obviously the number of girls you put through. And in terms of the business success, I guess it's um, I guess what I'm providing to people and what value I'm providing, and in what ways. So my dance online classes, which are starting up soon, and my lash services, and that's how I define the success for my business.
I love that. And do you celebrate these little small successes that all lead up to be able to reach your impact?
Definitely, I think that's perhaps why I took on this opportunity, because I can, even though there is so much work to be done, there's so much I need to work on. I know that there are weaknesses in my areas which I need to improve. Every step of the way, I've acknowledged that I've accomplished something. whether it was my first 6 girls, which is still huge, or whether it's starting up, or when I got into the Impact Boom program, every step that I made, I reflect on, and I always try to feel gratitude, and always try to feel lucky, even when I'm in a community full of people, even when I'm meeting people within my realm. That's how I feel, and that I think that's perhaps why I feel like I'm successful, because every step of the way I've allowed myself to acknowledge that, you achieve this something small, but it's a ripple within a big pond. Yeah.
Definitely. So you mentioned there that you practice gratitude. How often do you practice gratitude?
Every day. I think it's embodied in all my conversations with people too. They'll be like, "Oh, what'd you do today?" I'll be like, "Oh, let's watch the sunset." Like, I'll be like, "I love the sunset. Like, it's so beautiful." I'll be standing there, and I take in the air, and I take in all the colors, and how lucky are we to be here, being able to watch that. And I'll start with simple things like, okay, I have 2 hands and feet that enable me to do whatever I can, and whatever I'm able-bodied to do whatever I want. Eyes to see, a mouth to speak and to voice out my passions, ears to listen, to music and to other people. And I think I start with that, or I just start with other small things, like it was my birthday yesterday, and I love chicken nuggets, and my roommate gave me chicken nuggets at 12 a.m. So I practice gratitude in the smallest of things, and like I said in my previous interview, you find joy, and finding joy in everyday things helps make me happier. Yeah.
I love that. So yeah, your business success is not necessarily just in terms of your business. It also is so entwined with you and your happiness, and when the two are aligned, it just helps elevate everything.
It helps so much.
Yeah.
It's very, very demotivating when I guess I realize I haven't achieved much and stuff, and although I know I need to work on it, when I feel that I'm doing exactly what I need to do and what I want to do, it propels me further to be more productive. I don't know about other people, but yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It is so easy to get bogged down in everything that needs to be done and not celebrate how far you've come, or those little wins that you've had along the way. Do you do any journaling, or are there any other practices that you do that you think help you along that journey and help you look and reflect back?
Well, I tried to do goal planning. So I am honestly in this stage right now where I feel like I'm a bit of a mess. I'm like, okay, I really need to get on track with the business side of things as well, and to try to find a way to expand and grow it. And though I'm doing my online dance classes as well, I still have further goals. So now that the COVID situation, the restrictions are being lifted, I do want to make way for my business to open up again, and to maybe set in place procedures to make sure that people feel safe and comfortable, and that like they won't get sick, etc. And then with my goal planning, I set out what I want to do in the next 6 months with the business, and in a year, and how I want to expand it. Yeah. So.
Absolutely. I think that every business has need to have this space to allow for change. I think that COVID will have touched every single person and every business in one way, shape or form. And it's important to acknowledge that it's okay if it's put your business on pause, and there's every opportunity as we come out of this crisis mode and this lockdown for you to blossom again and
Yes.
help continue the amazing impact that you've had.
I did also want to add, in terms of like my business success, I think that the fact that people in the social enterprise space, or some people, do kind of understand who I am and what I do, I think that's amazing. So when clients come to me and they said, "Oh, I heard about you because you do this for these type of people, for this cause," that is an accomplishment for me, because there's so many eyelash businesses out there, and many people don't know what I do as well. So I love hearing that. And I think that also in the last year I was able to work with another salon, a nail salon, who took me in as a eyelash extension technician. So that was also another business related success. I was just I'm trying my best to be as, I guess, concise as I can and answer your questions as clearly as I can as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Collaboration is an amazing way of helping to elevate your business and to further your reach. And yeah, by partnering with someone like a nail technician, that they can actually utilize your services and having you in there to offer a better package to their customers. Well, then you also have the opportunity to reach out. I mean, I obviously, when I saw that you were interested in the interviews, I had to let you know myself that I had seen you in the Impact Boom pitch night, and
I'm so grateful for Impact.
Yeah,
so
and that was over a year ago, or almost a year ago now.
Actually, yeah, exactly pretty much a year ago. Yeah, June the 6th was on the pitch night.
Yeah.
Around this time we were practicing our speeches.
Yeah. So it's amazing that you don't necessarily realize the impact that you have, or the amount of people that might actually know of your business. Not always the amount of followers on Instagram or whatever are a really true indication of the people that might actually have heard of your business in the past.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So it is important to continue to have those conversations and let people know, because you don't know who knows and who doesn't.
Yeah. And on this topic, I believe that, like, what's important to me as well is awareness of what I do and the cause itself. Because of course I'm very passionate about the cause, and I want other people to know that. So the fact that people are hearing about it in this type of aspect, not just a beauty business, is amazing.
Oh, you can definitely tell the passion from this interview and the other interview that we've had with you. It's like you embody like happiness, because you are so online in line with your values. Just go back to the pitch night at Impact Boom, and maybe other times in business. Have you ever felt imposter syndrome during this time?
Yes, definitely. I remember, so I think I'll start off with a bit of a context as well. So when I first started my business, it was in maybe July 2018, and I did the course for it, so weekend training, etc. And then I was getting mentorship throughout it, and I had my first batch of clients. And then within that same month or two, I met Emmanuel from Beacon Academic Center, and that's when we started our partnership. And as the more we got to talking, we were like, we should do a campaign. We should sponsor 40 girls in 3 months. This was crazy big for me. I'm like, okay, then I just start getting clients. Okay, but let's do it. And within those first 3 months, that's when I got accepted into the Impact Boom program as well. Right. And then also I was accepted as a 7 News finalist, semi-finalist, and then finalist for the UQ Create Change Award. And then I had accomplished a lot in the first 4 months of starting out my business, and we ended up sponsoring about 27 girls. I didn't reach 40 girls, but that's completely fine. And it wasn't until maybe like a month or two after where I did have this moment of doubt. Like, I think someone might have mentioned something, and it's not their fault. Like, it was just a, insignificant little comment that they weren't. Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God, is everything I did fake? Like, am I really lying about everything that I did? Like, when I got the award, or did I really not earn that? Did I just really embellish everything that I've done? And then I was like, no, Nina. And I sat down and talked to myself, because when these insecurities hit, it's not my relationship with the person all the time, not generally always my relationship with the person which makes me feel that way. It's my relationship with myself and how I think of myself. So I was like, okay, Nina, why are you a fraud? You know, did you lie about it? Is everything you did is fake? You're not doing this for the right reasons? And I'm like, no. Firstly, I have all the receipts to prove I did what I did. And secondly, I've spent 6 years, you know, volunteering and trying to find out how I can specifically create impact for people. I spent 6 years doing all this work, volunteering, etc., building up my knowledge and expertise in this area and my experience. You know, I'm not Muhammad Yunus, but I'm me. And then I was like, you're okay. And then I just had to keep talking to that scared little inner child in here and keep comforting her and letting her know that you are where you are because of what you made, you know, what you made. Yeah. And because of your actions and your attitude and so on.
Absolutely. I think I always feel imposter syndrome when I'm in my weaknesses. As a business owner, you have to do things that might be in your weaknesses and might be in your strengths. Maybe different as you get bigger and you have more of a team that you can build based on your weaknesses. And but yeah, I definitely on a daily, weekly basis, whenever I go into my weaknesses, that's when I really feel imposter syndrome. I feel like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, or I shouldn't have had this success, or even when you think, I shouldn't have had this failure, and you think, well, actually, it's only a failure if you don't learn from it.
Yes.
And I absolutely agree with you when you mentioned about talking to your inner child, because there's definitely past fears that you have to overcome and build the resilience to help move forward.
I'm really enjoying this conversation. But yeah, you're right. Now that you mentioned that as well, in terms of you feel that in your weaknesses, that's completely right. When I feel like, you know, I've done this, but I'm actually not here yet. Maybe that's perhaps why people shy away from talking about their successes, because in other ways, even though they've accomplished this, they haven't accomplished the exact amount. Like, for example, if I had that campaign for 40 girls and I only accomplished 26, and I'll be like, I didn't accomplish 40 girls, sponsoring 40 girls. That perhaps would make me feel that way. However, I'll be like, you know what? I set out this goal. However, I did get this. And I think it's switching Absolutely. The how you talk about it. So it could be like, I accomplished this, but I didn't do this. Yeah. Or it could be, I didn't do this, but I did accomplish this. And I think that's just how I think now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And think, okay, well, so that was a goal, but I still have managed to create an impact for 26 girls, let's say.
Yeah.
But I have learnt this, and this to then be able to help me reframe or learn from my mistakes or the failure of not getting those other 14 girls. And I have learned from that experience and I can move forward. The other thing that I think is interesting is for outsiders, it's really easy to look at things and think that they are an overnight success. And so sometimes when you actually look at your business and you see that you haven't necessarily hit your goal, you're like, oh, I'm not a success yet. And that you actually forget all of those things that you did, as you mentioned, the 6 years of experience and trying new things and the education that you got. That all led up to the ability for you to do that campaign and the ability for you to be where you are right now and sponsoring 40 girls whilst you're doing your lashes and your dancing and things like that.
Exactly. Like during these years, I did a bit of a video on this, and I know that you saw it, and I mentioned it to you in my last group interview about like do what sparks joy. Should I
Absolutely.
Okay, so my philosophy in life, my new philosophy, which I first told you, is, you know, like Marie Kondo. She tells you to, what was it? Does it spark joy? Right. So throw away everything that doesn't spark joy. Keep everything that does spark joy. And I feel like that about life in general, and I felt like that about life for so many years. So everything I want to do, I do because it makes me happy. A really good example of this lately, during the COVID situation, was going to the park right after work, kicking off my shoes, dancing around and running around in the park. and I'm watching the sunset, and it makes me happy. And initially, when it came to things in life, for example, dance or music, I didn't have an end goal for it at all. Even when it came to helping people and volunteering, I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I just knew that it made me happy. When it came to making creative stuff, you know, like making videos and doing these little projects, I did not have an end goal. I just did it because I enjoyed it. However, all these little things I did, even in uni, when I was trying out different subjects, I was in Griffith for a year. I did a Bachelor of Arts, Film and TV. I didn't complete that. I failed a few different courses when I was at QT, but I'm still here. And I realized that maybe numbers isn't for me, but like talking to people and doing public speaking is something I really enjoy. And I was doing all these different things, and then it has accumulated to where I am now, especially now where I am with my business. So all that creative stuff I was doing, I can now implement it into my business. All those courses that I was doing in uni, even if I failed it, or the ones that I did like, it has helped me with my business. And obviously, all the ways that I was finding ways to help people and volunteering because I enjoyed it with music and dancing, now I'm using it for my business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's definitely one of the reasons why I decided to do these group interviews. I did a lot of soul searching at the beginning of this year, and I really came up with a strong vision statement that just so aligned with me as a person and aligned with my business. And that was Together We Thrive, Leading Better Business. And that was based on my 3 values of love, growth, and peace. And I really try and bring of growth and peace into my personal and professional life every single day. And with these interviews, I had no idea how many people would return my Facebook post and say that they were interested in having a group discussion and connecting. And then I thought, okay, well, I've also always had this idea of community marketing that I really wanted to work on and develop. And without even really realizing, the reason why I put that Facebook post was actually because I also want to try this idea out as well, and bringing everyone together. And so you don't know where something is going to lead you. It might be something for me as simple as writing a Facebook post. I mean, I've written plenty of Facebook posts in the past that have never been seen or never been recorded, but it was just finding that thing and keeping aligned with who I am as a person that then brought me to be able to have these beautiful conversations with people. I have enjoyed every single moment of it. I've definitely found joy.
Thank you for sharing that. I absolutely love that. I almost got like goosebumps you saying that. Yeah, so I guess growth and peace, what does that mean to you? I'm just curious about that.
Okay, so love for me, love was in my personal life, definitely for my family, my husband, my close friends. But love in business was to do what I love with people that also love what they are doing. And I think that connects so well with the social enterprise space. I personally am a social enterprise. And also I just think that there's so much passion behind the reason that people want to create a business that has a lot more purpose. Growth, for me, growth was about actually, I love growing, learning new things. I'm always watching a new documentary or listening to a new podcast. I can't get enough information. I constantly want to continue to grow. And I feel like if I am not doing that, and I have felt like that I'm not doing that in the past, and I feel like that I reduce, like I diminish myself if I don't prioritize doing some kind of growing activity. In my business, that allows me to be able to help grow other businesses because I am a marketing specialist and I can use my tools, techniques, and I mentor people so they can learn and and grow their businesses. And so I have my first-hand impact through my social enterprise, but my second-hand impact through everyone else growing as well. And then peace for me actually was something that embodied a lot of different things. Peace was peace within myself. It was peace and quiet. I really do value peace and quiet and space. I really also value peace with people, peace with the planet. So I'm a great advocate for like sustainability and equality. And so again, that just aligns so well with the business and the type of businesses that I wanted to work with. And that slowly brought me to, I then looked at those values and how that they created my mission. And my mission was basically using my strengths, my marketing strengths, to then be able to stay on my values. And then from there, my vision statement came, because I am a true believer that better business is the way that that we can actually change the world. And I want to inspire as many people to go down that path, whether it's social enterprise, B Corp, just doing better business practices, not for profit, whatever direction that has to be for your business. But I think that gone are the days of just making a business purely for profit without any thoughts of equality or justice for the people that are perhaps making your products, or how that affects the planet, where you're sourcing things from, how you're exporting, how you're doing business, how you're like your culture within your environment. That embodies everything that I believe in, and that's why I came up with my vision statement.
That is absolutely beautiful. I love that. That's very inspiring.
How about you? Do you have your personal values succinct with your business?
I think that, I guess, being genuine is a big thing. Open and transparent, and doing it for the right reasons, for sure. Not as a matter of gaining, I guess, fame, not as a matter of for ego, but it just comes from a sense of purely wanting to help people. I can't do anything without finding a purpose behind it. I need to think on this one. I know it's there, I just wouldn't know how to phrase it.
Well, definitely joy is obviously a big value for you that helps you within your personal.
Definitely. I just want to make sure that everything I do is connected to some kind of purpose of helping someone. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
It's quite simple. Yeah.
Oh, but it sounds simple, but everything that you have done to get to where you are is complex. It's not a cookie cutter that if someone does X, Y, and Z, then they will be in exactly the same place as you. You do have to trust the journey quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I think I really value also what you said, growth and learning. And like taking those fallbacks as an opportunity to reflect and be better, rather than letting it make me feel as if I should doubt myself. It's a huge one as well. Like there's a lot of, again, personal resilience that comes to that. And I think that can be applied through all aspects of my life. Like just because something doesn't work out doesn't mean you can't improve and make it better. Or you can learn and pivot, and I guess that attitude has adopted into my business as well, which is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love what you said about learning and pivoting, because there are plenty of times in the past that I have probably done something that would be seen as a failure, like how you said about like failing a class or not following that old-fashioned traditional path that you were told that you needed to go down to be a success.
Yes.
And learning along the line that those ideas of what success look like are definitely not succinct with the modern world.
Yeah,
And there are definitely a lot of times that when I had those failures, that they were actually my biggest learnings, and actually the biggest pivots to actually change my life, or change the direction, which, in looking back, have actually been a massive success.
definitely.
Are there any particular moments that you can, or failures that you can see that actually really helped reshape your future?
As you were saying that, I did think of something that was that I that I received from my mentoring in Impact Boom, and it was a big pineapple. um, so my weakness is finance. I failed, the finance subjects in uni, but I still passed, my actual course. So when it comes to setting up the business, that was definitely my weak point, and I could confidently say probably will be my weak point for a very long time. But it's okay because I'm still great at other things, and we can't be, great at everything. And I think that when it came to it, when I was Impact Boom, they kind of had a look at my model and my finance model, and they was telling me, as a business, it's unsustainable because you are giving too much away and not looking after, the actual business itself. And if you keep running it like this, it'll pretty much be a zombie business. And that was very hard to take, very, very hard. Because as someone who just wants to help people, we give and give and give without really looking after ourselves.
Yes.
And that's just me as a person as well. And I guess it's just come into business. And you would understand that. I can tell that you would understand it. Many of social entrepreneurs would understand that. And that was, I don't know if that was a failure, but that did hit me. And then it did make me, have to adapt it and pivot it around a bit, which has actually helped more. So after receiving that advice, I really had to look into my process, and how much I was giving away and how much I was like, all my expenses and so on, and really had to focus on a financial asset, which was my weakness, and then now I have to really grow and learn in that area too. But it was, there was a lot of little things like that in Impact Boom. But I really appreciate it.
Really absolutely. I think that there is a certain stage that I believe is around the difference between being a startup and when you actually are able to start scaling your business, that you really have to reevaluate all of those things. And you start hearing things like charging your worth and this,
that thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And absolutely, with an impact business, you absolutely have to charge your worth, because if you don't charge your worth, then you're not charging other people's worth and able to actually make the impact that you desperately want to make, but also people desperately need. That charging your worth is a really difficult thing to measure.
I'll tell you another one. So before I started all this business stuff, I think it was probably about 2 years into my social entrepreneurship journey, when I was like volunteering and wanted to start my social enterprise. I attended like a social enterprise conference, and during that time I was like, that's when I realized, oh my god, I want to go to Cambodia. I want to help children in disadvantaged communities there. And that's when I tried to start my own project, or I did start my own project. It's called the Promise Project. I've never spoken about this publicly like this. So I'm being very vulnerable right now. So I guess just thank you for listening. So the Promise Project, initially, I just wanted to go to Cambodia and volunteer. And I was with a friend, and I'm like, you know what? I might as well start a project. And I started up a website and everything. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring people along to the journey with me. And I got about 6 other people to come, a couple which I didn't know at all, and some people I had met just through the community or through uni and so on. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a group of people to come with me to go volunteer in Cambodia. We're going to start a project, we're going to raise money and so on. We're going to go help these children, And then, started a bit of a campaign to like fund money so that we can buy them school books and so on like that. And then I think the fact that I had these expectations really defeated the fact that there was a reality to it. And although my intentions were good, I wasn't really looking at what was really going on and what they really needed. So when we got there, these children, they're children with disabilities and they're orphans. And when we got there, what we realized that they didn't need books. They didn't need all those kind of things. They just needed love. They needed care, and they needed nurturing and people to just actually feed them and look after them. And they needed that kind of like nursing. And so we went there and we helped and everything like that. And my intention after that was to start a social enterprise that was related to that cause. But after that, even though we did accomplish so much by being there and helping these children, but I found it really hard to grasp onto the idea of creating a social enterprise and not knowing how to help these children. And so for like a whole year after, I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And I felt that it was a failure, but in reality now, 6 years later, that led me to what I'm doing now as well. Yeah,
absolutely. I have definitely done a few things in the past, like several attempts to do freelance graphic design and things like that, because I do have a background in graphic design as well. And I think that I always kept failing. I would have a limit. I would reach that upper limit of, especially while I was working and doing some freelance at the same time, there would be a limit that I was just constantly like getting to, and then I would just burn out and just couldn't do it anymore, and I'd like close the business and I would be like, no, I'm never doing that again. And then a couple of years later I would start it up again.
But look what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's worked out one way or another. Yeah,
absolutely. And there were definitely little things that happened along the way that tested what my upper limit was. And then I really I think I had an aha moment that I think I kept reaching burnout and that upper limit because the actual work that I was doing wasn't aligned with me.
Yeah,
I was perhaps doing stuff for businesses that I would never work or actually use their products or services. Like a car manufacturer or something. I hate cars, to be honest. The only thing I know about cars is what colour they are. Like if someone I've got no idea. Like I really
A to B.
Yeah, and so why would I do graphic design for a business that it just wasn't for me, and it was just burning me out and not finding that alignment. And so definitely when I discovered social enterprise, a lot of people said to me, you should be a social enterprise, you should be a social enterprise. And I'd be like, yeah, thinking in the background, I've got no idea what a social enterprise is. And so I actually had to do a lot of research in the background to be like, yeah, this does sound right, or yeah, I think that might be right. And it's one of those things that when you need to hear it a few times, and then you're like, this conversation of social enterprise keeps coming up an awful lot. Maybe I need to research it.
Yes, you come to the dark side.
Yeah.
Or the light side.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Absolutely.
Have you ever experienced, like, during this journey, someone or something that has really, like, criticized you and what you were doing and just made you feel terrible about yourself or about what you do, and that made you realize, like, oh, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe it is? Not made you realize, but really tested you if this was the right journey for you.
Yes, I have had some tests, and those tests have probably been via clients or other projects that have come my way. And sometimes, especially in the early startup stage, you want to say yes to everything because you've got mouths to feed, you've got a roof over your head that you want to keep there, and it's really easy to say yes to a project just because it's money through the door. And it's been a massive growing experience, because I have always wanted to say yes and help everybody. It's been a massive growing experience for me to actually learn how to say no. And I'm personally still working on it every single day. There's still things that come up that test me, that I have to think to myself, okay, do I really want to say yes to this project? Or just actually standing my ground and thinking, I'm the expert here, and I'm the one that actually needs to drive the conversation. There have been a lot of clients that I've personally found who then wanted to redirect or change the way that I do things to suit them. And that's when everything falls out of balance. And I don't end up producing the project or the service that I have the ability to, and it's because I've let my client drive it and not stayed in the steering wheel because I've wanted to say yes and accommodate to them.
Okay.
So that's been probably one of the biggest learning experiences and one of the biggest tests that I've had throughout the whole journey.
Yeah. I'll share something which also I haven't really shared publicly. So on.
Absolutely.
So after my trip to Cambodia and the Promise Project and so on, I was in, I think, a dance rehearsal, and I received a call. So I received this call, and it was a man on the phone saying that he wanted to partner with me on this project, and that he was very impressed by what I was doing and so on. And I was getting very excited, obviously. And so we continued this conversation for 5 minutes, and then me feeling really hopeful and me feeling really great that someone was hearing about what I was doing and wanted to partner with me for it. And then I heard a round of laughter, like a group of laughter. And then I remember being very shocked by it and very upset, obviously. And then I did feel very defeated for a second there, because, people were laughing at the fact that I was trying. But then the opportunity, I felt anger, or not anger, but I was like thinking to myself, you know what? You could use this. Something like this could easily turn you away from what you love. Or something like this can propel you further into what you love. And this to me was a huge test to see, do I really love what I love doing? Because if I'm going to receive something like this, can I handle it for the fact that this is what I'm passionate about? And then I promised myself, I know this is what I love, but I'm going to fight harder for it, because I know, because I know that I'm doing good. Absolutely. And then now years later, I remember it, and then like when I received my award, I'm like, I did it. I don't regret it, and I'm kind of glad that happened, because something like that, maybe the other people, they would have turned away from it because they were receiving criticism and stuff like that. But I would never let something like that, I guess, pull me away. Yeah, stop it. Yeah.
That's a very sad story to
I'm sorry to share that
to you, because that's really just terrible practice as a person, as a business owner, whoever that person was.
But I think it was a prank. I think it was a prank. I didn't even know it was a business person, but I think it was a prank. It was a prank.
It says way more about them than it does about you, and the fact that you used it to propel you forward instead of stopping you. And I don't know about you, but maybe it just happened at the right time, because for me, if that had happened to my younger Rachel, it would have stopped me. Those
exactly.
comments would have stopped me, but it obviously happened at the right time for you to actually, maybe it would have stopped younger Nina, but you were at that stage of pivoting and growing and really changing your life for the better and changing
exactly
better, and you used it to propel you instead.
It is an uncomfortable topic and story to share, but I think that the learning from it and how I just, the attitude towards it just really helps me now. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think I personally find that on a small level in business, when there are a lot of people out there that want like time wasters that are never really going to like buy your product or service. They're just wanting to find out your prices, or they want to try and compete with you and stuff like that. And so there's an element of me that I don't compete my business to any other business anymore. I hardly ever do a competitor analysis these days, because I just figure if I am on my path, I will continue to do whatever I can to propel that forward.
I completely agree. With that.
Mm.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah, I love how in sync we are.
Yeah, it's true. Like I don't like doing that a lot too, because it just makes me feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing it like them, but they aren't doing it like me too, for the reasons that I'm doing it for me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you have your unique space, and when you're in your unique self, and your business is unique, and it's not reactive to what other people are doing or saying or thinking or feeling, if you are just constantly trying to stay unique and to stay on path with the impact that you want to make, and you're providing a product or service that your target market want, then that's all you need. That's the formula for success and for you to make your impact.
Yeah, maybe that's why we feel happy about what we do, because we aren't constantly comparing ourselves to others as well. We just acknowledge that we're aligned with what we're doing, what we love, what we're doing, and so on. Yeah.
Absolutely. So to end on a high note.
Oh yeah, that's just a bit deep.
No, I think that the information that we have discussed today is going to be very relatable to a lot of people. There are definitely pros and cons to business, and there are going to be things that test you. And I think it's important to have these conversations. I think it's important to lift the veil that everything's all rosy, because it's definitely not.
Yes.
And but I did really want to find out from you, to end things on a high note, and to find out what you think that what is in the future for Vivra Co, and what can we expect to see this towards the end of this year.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I think that when I open up my business again, or the beauty side of it, I do want to obviously expand my service, and I'm very open to collaborating more as well, and getting back into the community of people. I really miss the people in the SoSense sphere. I miss being around passionate people who are doing great things, wanting to change the world, and I just want to share what I do. And like I said, I don't really have an end goal to when I do this, but something always comes out of it, like with this interview. So I think you'll be expecting to see a bit more of me in events, hopefully online as well. And now that I've started kicking off my dance classes, hopefully that really, hopefully that booms.
Yeah.
So that'll be great to get, because I know that people sometimes they physically can't attend a class as well, but when in the comfort of their own homes, in a space that's judgment free, that allows them to be themselves, to express themselves, that's what I want to create for people. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot more of that. There's going to be a bit of more focus on people within Brisbane, and the Brisbane community. So I'll definitely keep you updated.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see your journey unfold. And I definitely have on my list of things to do next time I'm in Brisbane is to come and get my lashes done with you.
Have a coffee and we can do,
and on that note, I thought that because you have been so vulnerable and shown your personal stuff, I thought that I would finish on a little anecdote about about dancing around at home at the beginning of this COVID crisis. I was meant to have my family coming over from the UK, and it was looking less and less likely that they were happening. Obviously, there was a lot of negativity in the news, and I just really wanted to shift this like negative feeling that I was like holding. And I think that it's easy to forget now that we're coming out of it, how everyone did feel in that first week or two when everything was locking down and we were being told to stay inside of our house, and everyone was losing their jobs and we had no idea what was happening. And there was such a level of uncertainty to people that it was just really hard to know what to do. So I decided during that time to dance around my house.
Yay! It's fun.
And I was dancing around the house, and I have 2 cats, and one of my cats was looking at me and thinking, what are you doing? And so I actually started dancing even crazier to entertain my cat, and I rolled my ankle and fell to the floor.
Oh no.
And I am now 7 weeks in the inability to actually move because I've torn a ligament.
You can move your arms and your head.
Yeah, I've torn a ligament in my foot and have possibly done some more damage that we're looking into at the moment. And
I'm sorry.
well, I did that because I have had so much success in the past of being able to change your mood so quickly by having movement. And so during a time that it was a bit uncertain of what you should do, I thought, what can I do in the house right now? And I followed some things I had done after going to see Tony Robbins a couple of times, and it was just about just like flow, just move, just do something. So
yes,
I turned
definitely.
the music up loud, started singing along, dancing crazy.
Yes.
But then I realized that the message that I was actually obviously being told was that I need to just pause for a moment. And because I didn't actually listen to myself, my body told me to do it instead. But I cannot wait to join one of your dance classes when I am fully healed. But unfortunately, I won't be joining you this evening.
It's okay. That's completely fine. If it makes you feel better, I've dislocated my knee twice from dancing and I'm still doing it.
Yeah. I'll definitely be up on my feet as soon as I can. But I guess that's another reason why I started these group interviews, is because I still wanted to have flow, to have movement, to have conversations, to not stop during this time. And this is a way that I can do that with my
and to stay connected, connected with everything and what you love. And I agree with something that you said before, like you know, when it comes to love, you're doing what you love with people who love what they're doing. Does that make sense? Compassionate people. Yeah.
Absolutely. I found having these interviews and having these conversations, I am just on such a high afterwards, because I found my people. I've definitely found my people.
Oh, yeah.
It's been so lovely connecting with such extraordinary people. And, you know, every conversation is probably challenging my own practices within my own business and how I can develop forward. And definitely need some time to reflect after all of this to work out the direction for House of Eden Studio, because I think that there's some exciting things, but also just need to prioritize one after the other and not find overwhelm in that time too.
I appreciate like you having me. I genuinely do, because during this time of COVID, it's probably been one of my highlights, was doing these interviews. Because I'm also connecting with people, you know, who are inspiring, and then it's inspired me to share my stories and to go out and about and stuff like that. And I posted a video on Vivra Co about, you know, find joy, do what sparks joy, and I think I want to do more stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely helped me.
I'm so glad that
it's such a high after too. I look forward to it a lot.
I'm so glad it's helped you and that you've enjoyed it as much as I have, because I am hoping to continue to do this, and that we can definitely continue to have these amazing deep conversations. And I think that that's one of the things that people have enjoyed the most, is because they've had the ability to talk. We haven't just gone to an event to listen to somebody else share their story. We've had enough sufficient time to be able to actually really get a bit deeper into conversation, which you wouldn't necessarily be able to do in a networking scenario either.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. I loved all of this so much.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I'm on such a high for like a week or so after. Yeah, it feels great.
Oh, well, I very much appreciate you joining me on the day after your birthday.
Yes.
That's some dedication right there. And yeah, I guess for the viewers, if you want to find out more about Nina, about these conversations that we've been having, or House of Eden Studio, if you want to head on over to houseofedenstudio.com.au, there'll be all the links and all the details to the other interview that I've had with Nina, so you can find out more about her and her Vivra Co journey.
Great.
Thank you so much, Nina.
Thank you.